Good morning. I'm Roxana Lester. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Savannah, working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community. We celebrate the presence and participation of LGBTQI and straight people of all races, genders, abilities, and ethnic and national origin. We welcome you on Zoom and in the sanctuary, wherever you are on your journey. If you're visiting with us, we would like you to stand up and introduce yourself, please. Welcome. Anyone else on this side? Raven, we have somebody who would like to stay seated while she introduces herself.
You're good. My name is Bree. I'm from Hinesville.
Welcome. Do we have anyone on the right side? We have someone around there.
And this is Clay. He's Scarlett's middle brother. He's got an older brother, and they're visiting in Alma, Georgia this weekend, but we made it. We're glad to be here.
Anyone else on this side? It's good to have you all with us on Zoom and in the sanctuary. If you would like to join us for coffee, some light refreshments, follow us out the store or around the building, into the building next door. You can ask the ushers or you can follow the crowd. There are 2 cards in the back of the pew. If you would like to get to know a little bit more about us, we have a yellow card with the rainbow chalice. And if you either use the QR code or you fill out the card and put it in the collection plate as it goes around, we'll be happy to. The minister will write you a letter. We'll put you on our mailing list. We promise not to bombard you with a whole lot of emails, but this lets us connect and let you know if something big is happening here. The card with the yellow, red, I guess I'm colorblind today. The red heart is the joys and sorrows, and we'll be reading those aloud if you would like. If you would like it not, if you have something of concern but you would like not to have it read aloud, just say not to be read aloud, and we'll read those a little bit later too. Church announcements are sent on Tuesdays and Thursdays through email, so we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about them today. We have a Tuesday and Friday, did I say? Tuesday and Friday. Tuesday and Friday. And they'll have complete links to all kinds of information. So you can look for those if you sign up with us. We have I'm going to read 3 things today, but just the headlines, and you can look on your email for more information or talk to somebody when you come around for coffee. We're organizing a work day to improve the exterior landscaping of the church. Mark Cullum, who's sitting in the back, is organizing it. You can talk to him, or you can look again at the website. Our website's uuusavannah.org, and everything else revolves around that. If you haven't completed the Green Team survey, those are going to be available in Ron Hall during coffee hour. Please fill that out so we know the people who are interested in particularly working with the Green Team on various environmental issues. The third one is about food. We love our food. The month of September is wide open. So if you'd like to bring some snacks, help make the coffee, there's a sign-up sheet in Ron Hall. We need more volunteers, and we'd be very grateful. With the lighting of our chalice today, Amelia Upton, Patty Flaherty. This is the most rehearsed chalice lighting I've ever seen. And I'm really proud of them for that. One of the things that's really amazing about this place and this time of year is the changing of the light. If you drive out Victory drive through Thunderbolt, and drive across the bridge. You see this expanse of marsh, and it's really one of the most beautiful places for a quick look at the marsh in Savannah. And at this time of year, we're ending the deep green, it's going into the light green, and then it becomes golden. And it's really magical. I hope you'll spend some time getting to see the marsh in Savannah. So as we light this chalice today, may we be reminded of the light around us that gives us joy and peace.
It is time to come to your senses. You are to live and learn to laugh. You are to learn to listen to the cursed radio music of life and to reverence the spirit behind it and to laugh at its distortions. So there you are. More will not be asked of you. Except please rise in body or spirit. For our hymn number 29, Joyful, Joyful, We Adore You. It's time now for our story. Anyone who would like to see the pictures may come forward. Our story this morning is called Anna Hibiscus's Song. Anna Hibiscus lives on the continent of Africa, amazing Africa. It is morning, the sun is hot. Anna Hibiscus is in the mango tree. The tree is cool. Up in the tree, Anna Hibiscus can see her whole family. Grandmother and grandfather are sitting on the veranda. Aunties are pounding yam outside the kitchen. Cousins are scattering corn for their chickens. Papa is going to work with Uncle Tundi, and Mama is waving goodbye. Anna Hibiscus feels so happy she almost floats out of the tree. Quickly, Anna Hibiscus jumps down. Grandmother, grandfather, Anna Hibiscus shouts. I am so happy. What can I do? Grandfather opens his hand wide. When I'm happy, I count all the reasons why, he said. Anna Hibiscus counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers, but she is far more happy than that. When I am happy, chuckles grandmother, I squeeze grandfather's hand. So Anna Hibiscus does that, and her happiness grows. Auntie Jolly, calls Anna Hibiscus, I am so happy, what can I do? You can come and help your aunties pound yam, shouts Auntie Jolly. Anna Hibiscus is not sure. Oh yeah, come on, the aunties laugh. Our happiness gives us the strength to work. Let's see you try. So Anna Hibiscus tries and tries and tries to pound yam. Her aunties laugh and laugh and laugh, and Anna Hibiscus's happiness grows. Anna, come and play, call the cousins. So Anna Hibiscus runs to Chocolate and Angel and Ben's. I'm so happy, she shouts. What can I do? Chocolate says, when I am happy, I walk on my hands. I cartwheel, says Angel. I somersault, says Ben's. So Anna Hibiscus tries to walk on her hands and cartwheel and somersault. And oh, Anna Hibiscus's happiness grows. Anna Hibiscus, what is going on? Laughs Uncle Tundi. Oh, Uncle Tundi, says Anna Hibiscus, I am so happy I don't know what to do. Oh yeah, says Uncle Tundi, turning on the car radio. When I'm happy, I dance. Uncle Tundi and Anna Hibiscus dance and dance around the car, and oh, 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 Anna's happiness grows. Papa, Papa, what can I do? Laughs Anna Hibiscus. I am so happy. Soon I will pop like a balloon. When I am happy, Papa smiles. I go to Mama and tell her how much I love her. So Anna Hibiscus runs to her mother and says, because it is true, Mama, I love you so much. And her mother says, I love you so much too, Anna Hibiscus. And oh, Anna Hibiscus' happiness grows so big. Mama, Mama, cries Anna Hibiscus, I am so happy, I think I'm going to explode. Then sit quietly, smiles Anna's mother. I sit still and quiet when I am happy. Anna Hibiscus climbs back up into the mango tree. She sits still, she sits quiet. Anna Hibiscus sits so still and so quiet that the birds in the sky fly into the branches of the tree and start to sing. That is what I can do when I'm happy, thinks Anna Hibiscus. She opens her mouth wide and sings. Grandfather counts fingers and toes. Grandmother holds grandfather's hand. Aunties work, cousins play, uncle dances all day long. Papa whispers into Mama's ear. Mama sits so quiet and still. And me, I sing, I sing, I sing my happiness song. Anna Hibiscus lives on the continent of Africa, amazing Africa, and Anna Hibiscus is amazing too. And so are all of you. And now you may go to RE as we sing our happiness.
The offering that we take each Sunday isn't just a stale habit. It's an opportunity to recommit to this place and these people. Our offering is an affirmation, a yes. When we give, affirmation. I'm going to practice that word a couple of times. It's an affirmation. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. May our offering help us practice Unitarian Universalism within and beyond our congregation. To donate via debit card, credit card, you can use the QR code on the back of your order of service. If you're on Zoom, you're welcome to go into the Zoom chat, and you can hit on the notice that has the link to Nancy Otterbury, our assistant, and you can get into our website and you can donate there. Obviously, we take checks and cash. If you're welcome to put that on a plate or send that in too. Don't put cash in the mail, just checks. We thank you for your generosity.
As I read your names, will the people continuing their service or recently elected or appointed to serve for the church year that began on July 1st, please come forward or prepare to participate in Zoom. Bring the insert to your order of service with you, and you can line up in front of the stairs facing the congregation. President, Dr. Jane Rago. President-elect, Reverend Dr. Steve Hutter. Treasurer, Judith Parker. Secretary Abby Powell, who shifted from trustee at large when Diane Rolfs resigned, due to pending move. And trustees at large, Dr. Danielle Alexander, Kevin Ione, and Raven Dodd, who was appointed by the board to fill the position vacated when Abby stepped in as secretary. Nominating committee members, Dan Flaherty, Dr. Joseph Bisserano, Martha Weaver, nope, not Martha Weaver, Nicole Flurney Ray. And fund trustees, Scott Alexander, Brett Highland, Gordon Matthews, Martha Weaver. And I believe there is one position open on the fund trustees, so you can talk to one of the nominating committee if you're interested in that position. Members and friends, these are the people you have called to serve this congregation. Do you, as members and friends of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Savannah, welcome these elected and appointed members of the Board of Trustees, the nominating committee, and the fund trustees? And do you promise to give them your trust and support? If so, please answer, we do. Board of Trustees, Nominating Committee, and Fund Trustees, do all of you, as elected and appointed leaders, express your gratitude for the congregation's trust and support, and commit yourself to this sacred trust as you carry out your responsibilities? If so, please say, we do. Each of us has a part to play in taking on roles and responsibilities that help this congregation to blossom throughout the church year. We appreciate those who serve in elected positions and those who participate by casting votes. In the spirit of incoming President Jane Rago's remarks last Sunday, or maybe it was last June when I wrote this, we now make requests and promises, one group to the other, those elected in the congregation that has called them forth to serve. Board members and other elected and appointed leaders, please repeat after me. When we falter or make a mistake, come to us in the spirit of friendship and support. We pledge to do our best, keeping in mind the needs of this beloved church, of which we have been elected to serve. Will the congregation repeat after me? When we falter or make a mistake, come to us in the spirit of friendship and support. We pledge to do our best, keeping in mind the needs of this beloved church we fully support. Let this commissioning mark the beginning of a two-way relationship between these newly elected and appointed leaders and the members and friends of this church, steeped in mutual respect and open communication. From this moment, may you move forward together, striving to live out your commitment to justice, equity, compassion, and peacemaking. You may return to your seats.
Today we have several concerns from Stacy Lazarus. My cousin lost his property to a tornado yesterday. Keep him in our thoughts. From Dawn, my sister has stage 4 cancer. We are celebrating her now at the end of her journey. And from Dorothy Holmes, 3 more racist killings in Jacksonville. We also can add to that the Boston parade, where people were killed, and also in Oklahoma at a high school football game where people were killed. It was a tough weekend. Let us resolve to work for racial equality. Amen to that. Let us hold all our joys and sorrows, spoken and unspoken, in our hearts as we join together in the responsive reading that's in your bulletin. Sorrow is everywhere, yet joy is reborn. As we mourn together, so we celebrate together and offer thanks that we are not alone. So may it be now and all the days to come. I'm going to do one more. I just found it on Zoom. We have congratulations from Joseph, who's been through it all. He's been our president. Congratulations to the newly commissioned leaders. And I think we all echo that.
Let us enter a spirit of meditation. The words of meditation this morning are adapted from Ted Loder. May we be bold participants rather than timid saints in waiting, in the difficult ordinariness of now, to exercise the authority of honesty rather than to defer to power or deceive to get it, to influence someone for justice rather than impress anyone for gain, and by grace to find treasures of joy, of friendship, of peace hidden in the fields of the daily we are given to plow. Amen. Our first reading this morning, a poem by William Stafford, Vocation. This dream the world is having about itself includes a trace on the plains of the Oregon Trail. A groove in the grass my father showed us all one day while meadowlarks were trying to tell something better about to happen. I dreamed the trace to the mountains, over the hills, and there a girl who belonged wherever she was. But then my mother called us back to the car. She was afraid. She always blamed the place, the time, anything my father planned. Now, both my parents, the long line through the plain, the meadowlarks, the sky, the world's whole dream remain. And I hear him say, while I stand between the two, hopeless, both of them part of me, your job is to find out what the world is trying to be. My second reading is the epilogue from the book Have a Little Faith by Mitch Albom. It's a book that grew out of several years of conversation that Albom had individually with a Detroit pastor and with his childhood rabbi, who asked him to deliver his eulogy when the time came. That turned out to be 8 years and dozens of conversations after the initial request. One last memory. This was not long before the Reb passed away. He was talking about heaven, and suddenly, for some reason, I had a notion. What if you only get 5 minutes with God? 5 minutes, he said. 5 minutes, I said. God is a busy God. Here's your slice of heaven. 5 minutes alone with the Lord, and then poof, on you go to whatever happens next. And in those 5 minutes, he asked, intrigued, in those 5 minutes, you can ask anything you want. Ah, okay. He pushed back in the chair as if consulting the air around him. First, I would say, do me a favor, God in heaven. If you can, members of my family who need help, please show them the way on earth. Guide them a little. Okay, that's a minute. The next 3 minutes, I'd say, Lord, give these to someone who is suffering and requires your love and counsel. You'd give up 3 minutes? If someone truly needs it, yes. Okay, I said, that still leaves a minute. All right, in the final minute, I would say, look, Lord, I've done X amount of good stuff on earth. I have tried to follow your teachings and to pass them on. I have loved my family, I've been part of a community, and I have been, I think, fairly good to people. So, Heavenly Father, for all this, what is my reward? And what do you think God will say? He smiled. He'll say, reward? What reward? That's what you were supposed to do. I laughed, and he bounced his palms on his thighs, and our noise filled the house. And I think at that moment we could have been anywhere, anybody, any culture, any faith, a teacher and a student exploring what life is about and delighting in the discovery. In the beginning, there was a question. In the end, the question gets answered. God sings, we hum along, and there are many melodies, but it's all one song, one same wonderful human song. I am in love with hope. Here end the readings. Our hymn in the gray hymnal, number 108, My Life Flows On. Please rise in spirit or in body. When my dad was nominated for the second or third time to join the board at our family Unitarian Universalist Church, he wrote the following in the church newsletter. I believe that my employment has developed the two assets I can bring to the Board of Trustees: perspective and a positive outlook on life. Corrections, when approached as a helping profession, teaches much about good and evil inherent in all institutions and individuals, and about their ability to grow. At the time he wrote those words, Dad was about to retire from a 37-year career with the Minnesota Department of Corrections. His career-spanning focus was community corrections, sentence to serve, work release, and other alternative programs. Chosen by my siblings to speak for the family at his retirement party, I elaborated on the connection between Dad's faith and his career. I quoted a passage from T.H. White's book, The Book of Merlin, in which Merlin speaks to an aged, battle-weary, and discouraged King Arthur. You have been taking my advice too literally, dear king. To disbelieve in original sin does not mean that you must believe in original virtue. It only means that you must not believe that people are utterly wicked. Wicked they may be, and even very wicked, but not utterly. Otherwise, I agree, it would be no use trying. I went on to say that Merlin's words reminded me of what Dad said he had learned from his career in corrections, that people and institutions may be flawed, but are not fatally flawed. And so there is the possibility of change, and thus cause for hope. I said Dad's belief in the possibility of change in the presence of hope, learned from his work in the department and deepened by the faith he found affirmed in our church, defined him not only as a corrections officer, but also as a father. Fast forward 25 years or so, and my brother has his own career in a corrections adjacent field, working for a nonprofit organization managing programs that facilitate ex-offenders' re-entry into society, both prior to and following their release from prison. Earlier this summer, Chris interviewed a woman for a position in one of his programs. During the course of the interview, she said, "Let me try to explain my church." My brother chuckled as he told me that the church she went on to explain was the church he grew up in, our family church, Unity Church Unitarian. Chris didn't tell me why she thought it was important to explain her faith to him. What's significant from my perspective is simply that for some reason, she connected her faith with her desire to work for an organization that deals in second chances, that refuses to believe people are utterly wicked. Several days ago, KERA, which is an NPR affiliate in North Texas, ran a story saying in part, more than 100 Texas chaplains have signed on to a letter protesting a new state law that allows them to serve as counselors in public schools. The letter, released Tuesday, urges school board members to reject the public school chaplain program, calling it harmful to our public schools and students and families they serve. Under Senate Bill 763, school boards have to vote whether to bring in hired or volunteer chaplains to provide, quote, support services and programs for students. Several groups organized the letter, including the Baptist Joint Committee for Religious Liberty, the Interfaith Alliance, and Texas Impact. We are troubled by Senate Bill 763, they wrote, because religious instruction should be left to our houses of worship and religious institutions, not to our government. said Reverend Jennifer Hawks, an ordained Baptist minister and Associate General Counsel of the Baptist Joint Committee. Texas school counselors are troubled too. Jill Adams, a 16-year school counselor, is president of the Texas School Counselor Association. She said, with training in child development, counseling skills, and mental health support, school counselors are equipped, trained, and certified to do just that for students. Texas chaplains do not have any credential or certification that would give them the ability to say they're qualified to support student mental health needs. Another chaplain, Sherry Allen, and Jewish cantor, and one of the signatories of the letter said, as a chaplain myself, I oppose school districts employing chaplains in the place of licensed school counselors. We are not qualified to do that kind of work. Under this new law, school districts could allow chaplains to serve as a student's first point of contact for mental health, suicide prevention, and other behavioral health services. Chaplains aren't trained to do that at all. Allen added that chaplains lack training in other academic areas as well, including graduation, counseling, and continuing education, advice, and information. As chaplains, she said, we are trained to provide spiritual and emotional support to people that ask for it. So that was happening in Texas this week, and meanwhile, this morning, Rachel Martin of NPR News ran the second part of her interview with Vanessa Soltan, who brings her self-proclaimed Jewish atheism as a gift to her work as a chaplain. Last week's part of the interview concluded with this statement. I'm not saying that religious people have only cheap grace. I just want to confront the realities of suffering. And I don't think enough people take that position. And I was raised to take that position. I don't think everybody should. So I feel like this is a muscle I have, and I don't know why, but I think it's a gift, my atheism, that I have to offer. The intersection of faith and employment can be a fascinating and fraught arena. Witness also the recent US Supreme Court decision regarding the web designer, same-sex weddings, and the First Amendment. Like Ms. Zoltan, my work is inextricably and explicitly tied to and informed by my faith, which is Unitarian Universalist theism. Like the chaplains in the other story, I think that chaplaincy and school counseling are two distinct fields, and I believe that the practitioner of one cannot substitute for a practitioner of the other unless they are specifically cross-trained and duly accredited. I do believe, however, that many school counselors may have found their way into that field because of the values taught in their respective faith communities. Finally, I think that the case of the website designer who doesn't want to work with same-sex couples should not have been heard by the Supreme Court at all, though I strongly support the freedoms of the First Amendment, including the Disestablishment Clause. If these statements sound contradictory or somehow not quite right coming out of the mouth of the minister, well, as I said, this is a fraught area of public discourse, and a fascinating one, to me at least, a fascinating aspect of the ways people of faith navigate society. Mitch Albom's rabbi put words into God's mouth. That's what you were supposed to do, referring to a lifetime of trying to follow and pass on God's teachings, loving one's family, being part of a community, and having been fairly good to people. That's what you were supposed to do. The father of the narrator in William Stafford's poem says, your job is to find out what the world is trying to be. Herman Hesse, in this morning's opening words, wrote, you are to live and learn to laugh. You are to learn to listen to the cursed radio music of life and to reverence the spirit behind it and to laugh at its distortions. These are all theological understandings of our life's purpose. Sometimes our life's purpose finds fulfillment in work at which we make our living, and sometimes it finds fulfillment in a passion to which we devote our leisure or volunteer hours, and sometimes in both. Nearly always, our life's purpose grows from or is informed by our deepest values, the ones we define and deepen and refine in the context of our faith and our faith communities. My dad sought to explain to his congregation how his career would inform his work on the board. My brother's newest AmeriCorps Vista volunteer sought to explain to her prospective employer how her faith would inform her work. I wonder, where in your lives do you find yourself saying, "Let me try to explain"? Do you tell people that this is the church you attend because of an experience you had working on the front lines of social justice work? Or do you explain that you volunteer where you do because your faith calls us to protect the interdependent web of all existence? Have you explained to a prospective employer that you want to work for their organization because they have a reputation for hiring and or serving people living on the margins of society? When someone calls you, as they will be in the next few weeks and months, when someone calls you asking to vote for their candidate, have you explained that you will or will not support that candidate because their record matches or does not match the values you hold most dear? When you write a letter to the editor, do you say, "As a Unitarian Universalist, I believe in equitable pay as a justice issue"? If you don't explain these things out loud to others, maybe they go through your head at moments when you need to make a decision. Or maybe you've never really reflected on it at all, deliberately. You make the decisions that feel right about employment and volunteer opportunities and voting and how and where to spend your money as the decisions arise. But it is perhaps only now that I've asked the question that the relationship between your decisions, your actions, and your faith become clear. There is a criticism often lobbed at churchgoers by people who do not participate in organized faith communities. It's something along the lines of the hypocrisy of leaving one's beliefs and values behind at the church when one returns to everyday life and business, profit-making, bigotry, greed, and exploitative labor practices. None of us is as good as our aspirations, but I think such a blank criticism is a bit harsh. Most Unitarian Universalists I've known, and most Christians and Jews I've known too, strive to live according to the values of their faith every day of the week. Still, if there does turn out to be a God, and we do retain our agency and our consciousness after death, and we are given 5 minutes in the presence of a thoroughly benevolent, infinitely non-judgmental, and insatiably curious divine, what would I say after the words, "Let me try to explain my faith"? It can't hurt to reflect a little every now and then practice our explanations in our hearts or our job interviews or with our children or any other time we're invited to talk about why we do the things we do with the precious hours of our lives. How much better might we come to know ourselves and what stories we would have to tell anyone to whom we choose to reveal our deepest, most authentic selves. Amen. Will you please rise in body or in spirit for hymn number 293, O Star of Truth. The blessing of truth be upon us. The power of love direct us and sustain us. And may the peace of this community preserve our going out and our coming in from this time forth until we meet again. Amen.